Oh, yeah. Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media, in case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. And yes, I have my crew coming through. You know how we do each and every week as we speak. But speaking of, let me show some love to Jackie Lookma and Renee Johnston. All right.
That was a nice one. Is that one of yours?
That's Jamiroquai.
Is that
Space,
Jamiroquai?
yes, Space Cowboy. Bam.
You know, you said that when you started to. Okay, yep.
Listening is part of it.
I don't think I ever listened. I mean, I know who he is. He had that weird. You remember the music video, and he was you know, all over. He was a little too phonetic for me. I was like, you're making me nervous just like watching this music video. And so
great entertainer, got some bangers. Yeah, virtual reality.
Yep,
that was it.
That's it.
Yes, sir. But I started off with that, since this is the thumbnail and we was talking about propaganda the other day and all those different things. To be a cop of the galaxy. I was watching Reacher the other day. I can't help it, man. These shows be good.
That's the point. They're supposed to be good. You're supposed to watch and be like, oh, but this is good TV, and not realize you're being propagandized. That's the whole point. That's the purpose.
Right. Look, see, this is why we have to back the blue. Look at what they have to deal with. Look at how dangerous their job is. See, most cops are like that. Most federal agencies are like that. Yeah, there are some bad apples.
And look at their significant other. They never get any time with them.
What epidemic of spousal abuse among law enforcement? Look at how much they have to deal with outside on the job. Good grief. It's a stressful job. You could at least have a warm meal waiting for him when he comes home. Maybe if you had a warm meal waiting for him when he comes home, he wouldn't beat your ass.
You know what I'm saying? Shut up, bitch. They got me working overtime.
Like when you really think about everything that has been exposed about law enforcement as an institution, as a profession, and as a community, like how can you look at any of this stuff the same? Like even Jack Reacher, I watched the show too because but even Jack, seriously, do you want a Jack Reacher running around?
Hey. I was just thinking about how far I go back to Starsky and Hutch. Cagney and Lacey.
Yes.
Dukes of Hazzard. But we was rooting for the Confederate bad guys.
And didn't know.
Miami Vice. Like all of it. Oh, 21 Jump Street.
Oh, yes.
Because they were all undercovers.
Oh,
like this is all. But this is what, like, when I talk to people about them being propagandized, right? So I say this all the time when we do abolition stuff. The question people most ask is, but what about the crime? What do we do with the crime? Right? Because they actually in their minds believe that these folks who show up in their costumes with their guns and their mace and now their electrified gloves about to be and body cameras and all this stuff actually show up and something actually gets better, right? Because this is what you've been watching on TV. They come to help. They're there to serve and protect the community. This is literally what you've been taught via every movie, TV show, every like even like rom-coms that have nothing to do with police officers.
Oh
You know,
man.
somebody's bag gets stolen, they got to call 911, the police officer shows up, he's super friendly and helpful. Like this is not reality. But this is also the reason that people think that computers are going to, learn to teach themselves and take over the world. We all watch too much TV and too
You ain't
many
lying.
movies.
You ain't
Mhm.
lying. And it be
I
the
mean,
ones that be the ex cops, ex military that like Shaft, A Team, Reacher. They
Hmm.
used to be in the
uh-huh.
military. We be like, well, they ain't really cops. They outside of the cop again, but they still working
Hmm.
with the cops. We be like,
Right, right,
Hmm.
and
so
and I love it how they frame these like the ones you just mentioned, Reacher, the A Team, all of these ex cops. What was it?
Shaft.
Magnum PI with
Hmm.
Woo! Mustache
Hmm.
ass nigga.
you know. They frame they do some of these shows like Reacher and even Lioness, which I did
Mm.
watch the first season of Lioness, but I couldn't any. I'm like,
What?
come on, man.
Listen,
You
it
I,
couldn't?
is
I, I
it
can't keep
is
watching
it
this
is
style talking about
diabolical.
this is
She
wrong,
every
and then
base
just
I go
keep
to on
on.
this planet.
Yeah, it is
What?
diabolical. It
She's
is
like, oh my
diabolical.
God, this is wrong. And then she keeps pushing the button and getting on the helicopter and dropping the bombs,
Right.
having the little, conflicted look on her face as the helicopter is flying away from the site that they just bombed 85 people. And she's like, did we do the right thing? Man, screw you.
Yeah.
So
It's
even the
diabolical.
stories, yeah,
It is.
even the stories are like about people who question the system, they actually don't do anything to change or
Mm-mm.
Right.
stop what is happening. They don't not participate in the crimes against humanity. They just have these very interesting and troubling moments of internal conflict,
Yeah.
and they might, crash out with their boss, but they're not going to not participate in the mass
Right. They're not
murder.
gonna not drop the bomb. They're not gonna not send the girl to kill the man eating his ice cream in the middle of the night. Like they're not gonna not do that. Which by the way, I don't know if people so for people who watch Lioness, the person in season one who wait, is it season one or season two? The gentleman who plays the father, who she ends up stabbing with the ice cream. Was that the one
Oh
you watched? Was
damn.
that the first season?
Yeah,
He
I think
came
I
down
think
and
that
she
was
was
the
in the
first.
fridge and he had her taste the gelato. It was the best gelato in the world,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
That was a creepy ass scene
He
anyway.
is so he's a comedian who yes, he is a comedian who has been everywhere preaching about how horrible the US is, how horrible. Like so I'm like, did he how old is this season? Like did this happen
Can't be
before?
that old.
Like I'm like, did he like look up and he was like, how the fuck did this? Because he came on screaming and I was like, what? How how are you? Wait, what, what is happening right now? I was like,
Did
wait,
ask
what just
we you
happened?
hate
When I
you
tell y'all, it fucked my head up. I was like, why are you in this TV show? And what is happening?
Mm.
And did something like like so now I have to figure it out. Like, see, Leah, yes, Leah, yes, it is him. Yes. Because
Mm.
when I
oh,
tell
that's
y'all,
weird.
he entered the screen and I was like, wait, hold the fuck on. How are you in this TV show with all that you doing in on social media and in real life? And so
Oh man.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Bobcats. I was about to watch Jack Ryan, another one. Oh
Uh,
my god. The
That
plot
no,
of Jack
I
Ryan on
mm-mm.
Prime is what they did to Maduro.
Oh
Mhm.
Lord.
Yeah, Jack
Mm-mm.
Ryan is a disgusting show.
Really?
All of them, like all of them are disgusting, but some of them are more watchable because at least they kind of try in the script, in the plot, to sort of cover up what they're actually like, to try to disconnect it from reality as much as possible. There are some shows that don't even try.
Mm,
Just like, yep, this is basically what's fitting to happen in Venezuela.
mm,
We
Some
don't know
wild
where,
shit.
but this is what somebody what is fitting to happen to somebody somewhere. And it's like, man, that's, and it's weird that people, so many people watch these shows, but they say they're not political, so when it happens in real life, they don't make the connection.
mm,
They do
Mm.
not make the connection between what they saw on a television show, when it seems like the television show is kind of predicting what happened. No, that's just what the US has always done. But because people don't read, don't know actual history, they don't make the connections. When they're sitting there watching, like literally on a popular television show, the literal history of US imperialism and how they overturned, democratically elected governments, and how they actually literally kidnapped some leaders like Nicolas Maduro, and before him, Jean Bertrand Aristide,
Mm-hmm.
Jean
From
Bertrand
Haiti.
Aristide,
Mm-hmm.
twice,
Twice.
twice.
Mm-hmm.
They
So
kidnapped that man twice.
so you got propaganda shows, and then you got shows that's always dealing with, like, this is my show right here, Reasonable Doubt. A lawyer is going to bring in some cops and everything else, but then you got the whole law aspect of, all right, let's see what they're going to do when it comes to laws. Should we be like, oh yeah, the law works for us sometimes when the lawyer gets it right and really finds a real person that wants to represent? Like, that's the other thing. You got propaganda and you got the
Now,
lawyers and
in
shows.
in reasonable doubt, does she work with like does she know all of the prosecutors and
She she's
like
she's a top black woman lawyer at a white firm.
hmm.
So she's defend, she
But she's a defense attorney.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So
Interesting.
so
And let me guess, she's the conscience of the firm. She's the one that's always telling them, we need to take this case because this is wrong. And we are the ones who can fix this. And this is the problem with you white people. And this is why I am here in this firm,
no,
to
she
be your
tells them
conscience.
I know why y'all got me here to take all the black cases. She's one of them, like, I know what the fuck I'm
Jesus
doing here.
Christ. Right.
But she's still there taking their money.
And
Oh,
she's still taking
she
their
one of the
money.
partners. That's what
She's
I'm
one of
saying.
the
She
partners.
like a bad. She like it's a good show because it deals with family. It deals with more than just your regular stuff, and it was good to not see drug dealing and a bunch of shooting and stuff like all the other black shows we got. So I
And
was
Mhm.
then
excited.
and then it still doesn't tell the truth about the unrealistic portrayal of a lone black lawyer taking it to the system and winning in
Mm,
these kinds of cases, because we know damn well right, right now, one of the things I think we're going to talk about a little bit earlier is this Nolan Wells case.
mm.
Mm.
So how does a show like Reasonable Doubt, where there's, this wasn't the only kind of, because I'm remembering, what was the show with
Night Court? No, I'm just playing.
no, it was either he was a lawyer or a private investigator, and now I can't remember the man's name. Tall black guy. uh Everybody just loves him. He was in, I think he was more
More.
Chestnut. That's his name.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh,
Morris Chestnut is in
Yeah.
Reasonable Doubt too.
He's a reasonable. Okay, but
Yes.
wasn't he in another legal show that he
Yes.
was the lead in?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's the same formula with black actors in these legal shows, these black led legal shows. It is, we are the conscience of the legal system.
Oh yeah.
We're going to fix what the legal system doesn't want to fix. We're going to show them where they are deficient in delivering justice. And come on, y'all, are we still believing that actually happens now in 2020? Really? Or this?
I mean, they doing
and
a
then
great job.
do they talk about how much her firm charges these people?
Oh.
who she's
Oh,
supposedly
she fucks with corporate
representing?
billionaires and millionaires. Yeah,
Right.
they don't
So
they don't deal with
so is she a defense lawyer for like
corporate
white collar crime?
white collar, black collar. Well, she most of some of her cases is murder. Yeah, murder has basically
But
been.
they all have to afford.
Oh yeah,
You have to. Okay.
oh yeah,
Okay.
you gotta have some money. Stop
So
playing.
Yeah.
we're also yeah.
They won't
I
be
can't.
defending us anytime soon.
Yeah, and everybody said the words pro bono are nowhere in the script.
No bono. That's what they do. Oh man. So yeah, that's what we doing today. We that's one part of it. Like we said, propaganda, how they pretty much control cultural media. And that's why we're here on Black Liberation Media. So we cannot be controlled. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our first break and we're gonna go get into some news and all the stuff that's going on. We got people up in Gary, Indiana, still can't even watch the show because they ain't got no electric. This is crazy. So let's go ahead and get to it right here. No other than, let me get this right, the Remix Morning Show. All right.
You've left a trail of broken-hearted fools all over town. But when
All right.
you get around to me, don't play around with me.
Don't play around with her.
And then be on your way.
All right. What are we listening to right here? We are listening to Portrait of Carmen. We talk about Carmen McRae. Yes, Carmen McRae. Let me put you down on what she's doing. Do I have it? Here we go. There we go. All right. So with that said, let me turn that off. Carmen McRae, yes, American jazz singer, considered one of the most influential jazz vocalists of the 20th century. And yeah, she came out of New York, worked with parents, both Jamaican, immigrant, came and did her thing with Louis Armstrong, Duke Ellington. They used to come to her house back in the day. And then she finally met at age 17 Billie Holiday. This is who she really patterned her whole singing after and was her biggest inspiration. But let me tell you, she started, her first album came out in 1953. Her last album came out in 1998. She has well over like 30 albums. So when you're talking about somebody who's been putting it in, she has been putting it in. She made her transition November 10th, 1994. She had a stroke. She was in a semi coma and then wound up having a stroke, and she transitioned at the age of 74. So if you want to hear some real good jazz type stuff to get you going, Carmen McRae, y'all. All right, with that said, let's get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show.
And you discover in a single night. All right.
I'm getting a lot of Amy Winehouse right there. I'm getting a lot of
Ooh,
Amy
don't do that.
Winehouse.
Don't you do that.
When
Ooh,
Amy
that's
Winehouse is copying off of her. What do you mean?
well, yeah. So you not hearing a lot of Amy Winehouse right there. When you listen
Right
to Amy
there. Listen to
Winehouse,
this voice.
when you listen to Amy Winehouse, you are hearing a lot of Carmen McRae.
That's what I
That's the
mean.
correct. That's not what you said.
You said it
That's
right.
right. Don't
You
you
said it
play
right.
around with it. Don't you come out
But
here
you know what I meant.
playing
Damn it.
around with me,
You know what
like
I meant.
Carmen said.
But look at that portrait of Carmen. I mean, this album cover is all that. She's like, just take a picture of me
Hmm.
and paint it. Put it on the album
Hmm.
cover. All right, well, that's what it
Yeah.
is. Welcome back to the Remix Morning Show. I'm the Air Doctor. That's Jackie Lukeman. That's Renee Johnston. And it's time to get into some news. Let me go refill my coffee.
I appreciate that ear doctor has the thumbnail for the lanterns because I do love a good sci-fi, and I know that Marvel or MCU and all of these superhero movies are not exactly sci-fi, but yeah, okay, close enough for me. Lots of action. I'm happy with it, but this is still propaganda. it's
As
as
long as
much
folks are
as
clear, as long as folks are clear, you know,
Uh-huh.
and we
And I
see.
forget. That's right. I'm sorry. This isn't Marvel. This is DC Comics. That's right. I forget.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
I was never a comic book person, so I don't really, if you asked me honestly, I might not know the difference, to tell the truth. But I
Yeah.
will say this is the same thing. I feel like people who get angry with people for watching TV and going to the movies are like misplacing their anxiety. Like, I'm like, the goal is to make sure that people understand the difference. So, listen, go watch it, but
Yeah.
just know you're watching
Yeah.
propaganda, right?
Just know what it
We are
is.
just simply not in a place. We are not in a place where we can encourage people to walk away from these things in life. Like, we can't. It is. We're just not there. Like, people are not ready to give up movie theaters. They're not get ready to give up their streaming services. They're not ready to give up, their food delivery. Like, people are not ready. And what we should be working on is encouraging people to understand why they need to consider these things,
Hmm.
but the people not ready. And it just is what it is. Like, I think people spend a lot of energy being really upset about the things that people participate in, and I just feel like it's a misplacement of energies.
I think that for I think getting upset about yeah, I think that's annoying. That's just annoying because people are going to watch television. Like, what do you want people to do? Do you really think people are just not gonna? People won't read. People will
Right,
not read a 200-page book, and that's a small book, by the
right,
way. I
right, right.
mean, right? So it's not. So what are we know the literacy crisis in this country. We understand that the public education system in this country is a big old propaganda machine, and everybody is misinformed and miseducated and all of that kind of stuff. So that's why these television shows and movies are so incredibly popular, because they reinforce the misinformation and the miseducation, and they also reinforce this false nationalism that is wrapped up in this miseducation and misinformation, because it's a positive negative kind of thing. They're indoctrinating you with this idea that you should support law enforcement because look at how hard their job is. And look, most people in law enforcement are actually good people and they want to do good things. Like, these cops over here in New York undercover. Like what's her name, Queen Latifah in The Equalizer. You know what I mean, like in what's the one with Chicago, the cops in Chicago, all of those shows. That's what they're doing. That is what they're telling you, because see, in school you never learned that the United States were the bad guys and are the bad guys around the world. Somebody needs to police the United States internationally. But since you don't learn anything about the US's crimes against everybody else in the world, this propaganda about certain criminality having to be crushed and made an example of, it is done to really cover over the real crime that the very systems these shows are trying to celebrate and make you support. You never think about the real crimes that they have and continue to commit, because you never learned about the fact that the United States existed on crimes against humanity that nobody ever policed. So what kind of crime are we talking about fighting in these shows? Right? Because the actual crime, the real crime that happens in real life in some communities, particularly the white on white crime, white collar crime, wage theft, these kinds of things. When is that punished in real life?
I was gonna say, do they ever talk about wage theft on any of these shows? Ever?
No, no,
Never,
no.
right?
It's nope, never. It is almost never. almost never. I watch a whole lot of I watch a whole lot of shows. I just watch too much television because I love action and I love sci-fi. And honestly, American television is garbage, but it is what we got. But there were shows that really did push the envelope of showing cops so embattled by so many different forces that they couldn't help but try to find a way that might have been, in the shades of gray so that they could do their job to fight crime. Like I'm thinking about this show called The Shield. That it
Hey,
was
Rob
it,
literally just wrote that in the chat. Like,
oh, did she?
she showed it.
Like that was one of the propaganda shows that I began to watch, and because I like the actor, can't remember his name, but the more I watched that show, the more I realized, wait a minute, dear God, this is justifying police brutality. This show is literally kind of justifying, well, sometimes the cops sometimes they got to break some heads to get things done.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that element has probably been in almost every cop show back to,
The Wire.
yeah, like back to a Dragnet, right? But I think the Shield, so for some reason, the Shield to me was like, these are the cops. These are the cops that we got. And all this bullshit about, oh, we're just trying to do the right thing. No, no, you're not. No. But there was still so much celebration of the outlaw idea. The idea that if you can't get the results you want within the system, it's okay to go outside of the system and abuse people and break heads and violate rights in order to get the job done. And it's okay if you're a little bit of a criminal yourself. And it's like I couldn't I at first I couldn't believe how long that show stayed on. But then the older I got and the more I realized how fucked up the
It made
people in this
sense.
country are,
Mm-hmm.
it just absolutely made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Sons of Anarchy. I know that's not a cop show, but like so we're celebrating outlaw biker gangs now that deal drugs and traffic women. Really? That's what.
Well, I mean, listen, if we're going to talk about some news and how this stuff works, I mean, I guess you could always just join, a white frat at a public university
Ooh,
and, sell drugs to everybody. And
yeah, let's toss that satellite, because come on now, let's toss the satellite and get into that story. Ear doctor, where you at?
getting his coffee. See,
Is
look
he
at that.
still getting his coffee?
See?
What is he doing?
And then he'd
Crunching the
have
mushroom?
jokes. See, if we were here talking too long, he'd be slapping the map
Uh-huh.
while we were like mid sentence because we were talking
Right.
too long. But I guess we
Hmm.
just gonna have to go to the news without
I
the
mean,
map.
I'm looking for the satellite. Yay, satellite. So
I seen some unsavory person walking in my neighborhood, so I had to go check.
Lord have mercy. And that is also what propaganda shows do to you. They make
Yeah.
you fucking
Mm-hmm.
paranoid. They make you
Mm-hmm.
paranoid. Everybody and everything is a threat. And on top of, this whole attitude toward us in this country that has always existed, it's not hard to push people to being paranoid about us walking around in their neighborhoods. But just the last thing on the propaganda shows and what people watch and that kind of stuff. Look, I ain't mad because I watched this movie, which was trash, because he was in it. This movie was a Netflix movie. I can't remember the name of the thing. It is
Yes.
so incredibly ridiculous. It
I
is so
mean,
dumb, but I ain't
he
care.
is, but he is fine. I'm not.
Look
Listen,
here.
look. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, he really is.
I just and maybe it's them eyes. I don't know, but I I understand. Sometimes just sometimes we just gotta watch just to look at some beauty, and that's all right. I'm not gonna be mad. Thank you, Rebel Ridge. That was the name of that dumb movie. Oh, but he was very attractive and virile in it. Anyway, uh, so um, fraternities dealing cocaine. What happened with this?
That ain't new.
So let me see.
It's the Sigma Chi story, because
Hmm.
the reason this started to come out is because they were making the pledges bag the drugs as part of their.
Oh my gosh. Is it wait,
And you can't
is
make this
this
stuff up. It's on the Penn State story.
let's see. Where is it? Hmm. Okay, there you go. Found it. Sorry, little synapses a little slow this morning. All right. Yeah, this is and I got to tell you this might be shocking to some folks, but it ain't new. And I'll tell you why. But yeah, Penn State frat pledges forced to cut and bag cocaine for college drug raid. They forced them, really? They at gunpoint? Is that how they did it? That's really it. They couldn't say no. Okay. Penn State fraternity pledges were made to cut and package cocaine for a drug ring that was run out of two off campus frat houses, authorities said. The illicit initiation was revealed Monday as Pennsylvania Attorney General Dave Sunday charged 14 people, including 13 current or former Penn State students, in connection with the alleged drug ring. The man accused of leading the operation, 24-year-old Agostino Abbattiello, sentenced on Tuesday surrendered on Tuesday after failing to appear for a scheduled arraignment on Monday on charges including possession with intent to deliver and conspiracy. He was ordered jailed without bail. A message seeking comment was left for Abitiello's lawyer. According to court documents, the drug ring operated in 2023 and 2024, fueled by bulk quantities of cocaine that two of the charged men obtained from contacts in Philadelphia and New York. They cut and bagged the drugs mainly at the Sigma Chi and Delta Epsilon fraternity houses, using frat brothers and pledges as labor, then distributed it through Penn State students, court documents said. One of the men said a co defendant was the largest distributor of cocaine at Penn State. So there are other smaller distributors of oh, oh my God, that just, I don't think they realized what they wrote. And would boast about how much money he was making from selling cocaine. At least four of the defendants are current students, Sunday's office said. This is very serious criminal conduct. There was nothing junior or childlike about this type of conduct. Sunday said at a news conference on Monday, this was an upper level trafficking organization for this region in Pennsylvania. Because, all the other trafficking organizations are bullshit compared to what they were doing here. Four people are charged with conspiracy, dealing in proceeds of unlawful activity, felony corrupt organizations, and other offenses. Another defendant is charged with felony conspiracy and criminal use of a communication facility. Huh. Paul Robinson, the father of a student who was accused with Abatiello of being one of the ring's two main suppliers, is charged with felony tampering, hindering apprehension, and obstruction the investigation. Because he said, y'all ain't gonna lock up my son. Authorities say he took steps to conceal evidence, including a safe containing drugs and cash. Penn State said it placed Delta Upsilon on interim suspension. Interim suspension. Noting Sigma Chi is not recognized by the university and is not subject to its oversight. Um, Sigma Chi's, let's see, Delta Upsilon Executive Director Justin Kirk said anyone involved in the drug ring who had ties to Delta Upsilon was expelled or suspended from the fraternity if they did not resign. Sigma Chi's Executive Director Michael Church said the 3 Sigma Chi members who were charged have been suspended pending the outcome of the process. He said the fraternity has suspended all operations at its Penn State chapter on an interim basis while we determine whether these allegations reflect individual conduct or organized chapter activity. This conduct is an egregious violation of our values and has no place in our fraternity, community, or society, Church said, adding that any members involved will be held fully accountable to the extent available to our fraternity, at least on an interim basis, until we see whether you will actually be found guilty. And if you're not found guilty, well, then we won't make you guilty either. Continue on. Come on, y'all.
This is the same story as Power. Like the joint with 50 Cent does where he got the kids selling all types of drugs in college. I mean, college is a business. I mean, really, I always told my kids, like, we had in our dorms, you had one room that was a barber, another room was a salon, another room was a candy store, and you had your weed room. So it was like different dorm rooms you can go to get stuff going on. So yeah, I get it. They just
yeah. And
I just so I also am an indulger in reality TV. And there is a reality series about sororities and fraternities. And I think it's UCLA where there was a full drug bust also because they were selling cocaine. They were this and the reason was they wanted their fraternity to be like the party house, the cool party house. So they started selling drugs at the parties. So, but not even to be funny, the level of things that people who are pledging sororities and fraternities go to in order to like get to actually join this group, I am not shocked at all that these kids was like, "Oh, you want me to bag some coke? Okay, no problem." Like it, these things are they're like they're cults, right? And so once you get yourself invested in this process of trying to become part of this thing, you literally like all common sense evades you. All of a sudden, you start letting people do all kinds of madness that you would never have considered doing prior to deciding that you're going to join this group. So I was not shocked that they were using pledges to do this. No one should be shocked that they were using pledges to do this. I do find it interesting that they suddenly decided now that they're going to crack down on this particular group at Penn State. Because I'm curious about that. Because, like Ear Doctor just said, this is happening everywhere, right? This
especially
is
with
not
opioids, like to keep them up.
right.
What's that one drug that keeps you up? Ritalin, or one of them shits.
Ritalin, Adderall. What are the newer ones?
Yeah. No,
Right.
Adderall.
I know there are some new ones out there.
Listen, so I would not be shocked if these rings existed everywhere. So I am curious as to why they particularly were coming after this person and his family. I'm curious as to what made them decide that they were going to investigate this particular fraternity on this campus. So I have a lot of questions because I never trust anything, right? Like there has to this is happening. This is literally happening everywhere. So why this campus, this group, these people? What is the story behind this that's making it go? But I also find it deeply amusing that we're doing suspensions pending pending what happens with the outcome of the court. Like all this stuff is all like, yeah.
Who's the president of this college? Oh, never mind.
Penn
Hey,
State.
hey, 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 hey.
Man,
He
my
might
finger
have
hit the
done cocaine, but he didn't. He did not implement some damn cocaine ring. He wasn't the head of a cocaine. Yeah, he did
what
some
happened to Howard?
cocaine.
He was in DC.
Yeah, he did. He might have done some cocaine, but he didn't do that. He didn't force nobody to bag nothing.
The downfall
And
of
I just want
Howard
to point out
University.
that Penn State is also where we had all kinds of like wild accusations with coaches and medical staff and all kinds of stuff. And I don't recall them doing all of this to support them students. Just saying. just,
No, because
just
remember
saying.
the documentaries all came out after
After, yeah,
Sandusky was
right, after,
locked
right,
up,
Mm.
right.
and what's its face? Yeah, the thing. A couple things. I've been around a minute, and I've seen
No.
some things and done some things. Um, my,
Not you.
my ex. Look, I'm surprised. I
Yeah.
never actually went
Blame
to
it on
jail.
your ex. Go ahead with the story.
No, but
Now
this was, it's not like I cared. I was so anyway. My ex, the guitar player, Fred Smith.
damn.
He is
Whole
no
government name?
longer with us, so I can
Oh, okay,
tell this
okay.
story
Look at
now.
that.
Um, he was a musician in DC, and so he make a lot of money, and he had a minimum wage job at a head shop, which is weed accessories and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and so didn't make a lot of money. I worked at Tower Records and Video, didn't make a lot of money, so we needed to supplement our income. So he started selling coke, and you know where he got it from? Two college students at George Washington University.
Mm.
So the
Like
way
I said, not new, not
and
separate.
this was in the early 90s.
Mm.
Early 90s. Yep. And we would hang out with these people all of the time. All of the time. Like there was a club in Georgetown right at the corner before you turn on to Key Bridge called Posers. We would hang out there, and that's where the transactions was. I sure was. But no, I was not. No. No.
She was at home bagging up.
No,
Jackie
I
was
actually
home
wasn't.
bagging. Let me find
No,
out.
I wasn't because the ex wouldn't let me. Because I was
Oh,
I
okay,
was
yeah.
I was still very young and naive
Yeah.
then, didn't know nothing about nothing.
Fresh
And
and green.
I'm like, oh, what's that? And he's like, I wish you would. I wish you would. Which makes no damn sense. But still. I mean, just the idea that we would meet these two college students, and I think by the time we met them, they were in their second or third year, and they were not shy about it. They're just like, yeah, we're over at GW, and they're delivering the brick.
I'm telling y'all, man.
So
None of this
this
surprises me.
College
come
None of this
is
on,
surprises
man.
me.
college is the Carter Hotel. I'm telling you, in New Jack City, it's a bunch of clients. I
Hmm.
mean, they need stuff all the time, and you there to provide it. You can make some money. I always
Hmm.
told my kid, I was like, you go to college, you better learn how to do some hair, something, get some money.
Yeah, and look, that's fantastic. But here's another thing about this story that is very interesting to me. Any of these kids have do rags on? Any of these kids, out in public with their bonnets?
Oh no.
Is that because that's what we
In they
are?
slippers, in they slippers going
In their
into the
slippers,
dining room.
right? Is that a concern
Mm-mm.
among? I mean, because is that why these kids did what they did? Because they don't know how to present themselves respectably. So maybe perhaps the problem with kids in college isn't how they present themselves physically. Maybe there's not enough oversight into what the organizations and the institutions and the alumni are roping them into that could set them up for some serious criminality, if not just flat out harm, because this is still the environment where hazing takes place, rampant sexual assault, exploitation of student labor. All of this stuff is going on college campuses all across this country. And on the one hand, and maybe this is completely disconnected, but it is something I kind of thought about when I saw this story on the run sheet. I'm like colleges is, I think we are seeing that at least these Ivy League institutions are really like sites of all kinds of really awful antisocial, very anti-Black, anti-woman kind of behavior. And why are we not focusing on how college campuses are a microcosm of the broken and messed up US society? And we need to address that and those issues instead of us worrying about how the people who are doing this are perceiving our children when they walk out of their dorm room with a bonnet on. Like you're worried about our kids walking around with a bonnet and a do-rag on, and they over there selling drugs on campus. And the people who are running the whole operation are like, yeah, if they can get off on the charges, then this is just a good lesson learned for them. Because we're not gonna punish them if they're not convicted. It's just going to be business as usual. And it's just I don't understand why we are still stuck in respectability politics in the context of all of this going on college campuses. It's just very it's just very weird to me. It's very, very weird to me that the dichotomy of these two college stories. That it's wild.
Well, Blacks are there to get a corporate job, so you got to dress the part. Can't go to a corporate job and wear a do rag and a bonnet. So that's the expectations of going to these colleges. So you can go get you a corporate job, make some money. But what about when they say you dress how you want to be, how people to perceive you, as in to talk to you? Like, I don't know. I know I dress a certain way, just like you will see a Muslim brother. You see him dress, you're not gonna be like, "Yo, what up, my nigga?" You're gonna be like, "Hey, peace, my brother." Or you gonna see a sister that's wearing a let me get the word right.
Hijab.
You're gonna say, "Peace, my sister," instead of "What up? What up?" You know what I'm saying? It's a different. You address people different how they dress.
No, you don't. No, people don't.
No, you address people differently depending on how they're dressed, but that is not universally applicable.
So when I go to the corner and I see some of my people like, "What up, my nigga?" When I see an Islamic brother, I be like, "Peace, brother."
But that is you.
That is you.
That is you. What I'm saying. That's you.
People don't
That's
do that.
not universally applicable. It's not.
And as far as and as far as these students dressing the way that they want people to treat them, and dressing for success in a corporate environment, those corporate entities, which are all connected to the intelligence and the military industrial complex, they're already on campus, and they have already captured those students in their programs, fast track them to a job, blowing up people after they graduate with those bonnets and those do-rags on. That those students are already in those programs. So this idea that people trotted out like, oh, well, college recruiters, they don't want to come to campus and see a bunch of students in do-rags, and but they don't care. All they want to know is, are you going to push this button, program this piece of technology? Are you going to man this drone system or build this advanced drone system so that we can keep killing more people and stealing their resources? And we'll give you a pretty decent paycheck for this place in exchange for it. But because you're a Negro, it'll obviously be less than the drug dealing white kids from Penn State. who are
And
also going to get
there's
jobs.
also, I was about to say, there's also a really big assumption here about whether or not Black children have access to the same employment opportunities. And I have to say, the least of their problems is whether or not they wore a bonnet to the cafeteria or or to class when they were in college. They like this. The whole thing is there are a lot of Black people that get up and put suits on every day and go look for jobs and don't get none. So this whole like assignment of you have to look a certain way and all these things, this is all nonsense.
So
It's
why do
all
y'all get
It
nonsense.
dressed
is
up and come on this? Y'all could have just
because
rolled. Y'all
Because
it's
could have just
illegal for
rolled
me to
over.
sit up. Because illegal for it's illegal for me to sit up here in my drawers, basically.
No, you
Because
can
the
wear your
last time,
pajamas in your
because the
bonnet.
no, because the last time somebody did come on here in their robe and their bonnet, you had a hissy fit.
You damn right. I did. I'm one of them.
You had a hissy fit.
I was like, come on now. It's almost like okay, for me, I'm like, put a little care into, our presentation when we present into the world. Yeah. Is that
Why?
wron?
Why do you
yeah,
need to
this is
police
all.
how other people present
No, I don't like how you
themselves?
put police in there.
Listen, but
Let's rewind that
this is
word.
also all, it's all subjective, right? Because somebody could be watching and being like, why is he on screen in a t-shirt and a hoodie? That's
Mm.
not professional. Like, people will have their opinions. And so I dress in what I'm comfortable in, right?
Yeah,
And
we can
so
see
y'all
you.
can't see I'm just in a t-shirt, but most of the time I'm just in a t-shirt. Like that's it. So I think this absurd focus on what people are wearing and all, it's the same. Like, why, like, is them wearing a suit going to change the way they do their job? No. This is all part of this whole process of like managing and oppressing and literally policing people in their everyday lives. Like, that's literally what this is all about, and it's absurd.
I don't
It's
know. My
absurd.
mom, my mom said, "Listen, if you're gonna go out the house and you get in an accident, make sure you got clean drawers and look decent." That's just always what I was taught. And it ain't
but
had nothing to
and,
do
and
with
here's
that ain't had nothing to do with trying to look like nobody else or
But
nothing.
here's
That's
the
just
funny
No,
part.
but it
If you
did.
get into a bad accident and your drawers are clean, do you think they're staying clean? Like, what are we talking about
It
right now?
absolutely did have everything to do with, because it's all of the, because my mama told me that too.
say yeah.
But it's all about, don't embarrass yourself in front of those people. That's really what it is. Don't present yourself in a way that those people can talk about you. And I keep reminding people, they lynched our ancestors in their Sunday best.
Mm-hmm.
They burned down churches and houses and schools with our ancestors in them. And they were doing everything right. No do-rags, no bonnets. Nobody is out looking trashy. Ain't nobody got that. Want nobody sagging. None of the things that everybody complains about the young Black folks wearing today. All of the violence perpetrated against our ancestors was not done. And still, you think those, what is it, 8 people now? 8 Black people who have been found hanging from trees in 2 states, I think. You think they're being lynched because of the way they're dressed?
Mm.
This conversation at this moment in time in this country is dangerous, because none of the things that are being done to us, ICE is not dragging people, Black and brown people, off the street because they are not presented appropriately. ICE is not, the police are not more polite to you when they pull a Black person over in the middle of the night who is driving a fancy car and he has a suit on. As a matter of fact, that is in certain places, a Black man in a suit driving a fancy car is what's going to get him pulled over faster, or more likely to get him pulled over, Because see, he ain't supposed to have that. And we still live in a country with a bunch of people who believe that. So all of these conversations from Monique and whoever else keeps keeping this dumbass conversation about bonnets and do-rags and sagging and present yourself the way you want people to treat you. People don't give a damn about how we present ourselves, and history has shown us that over and over again. I do not know why we keep believing this when we keep seeing that that's true. This is respectability is not going to save us. It's not going to stop this. It's not us walking around in our Sunday's best all of the time in suits and our Sunday. What we supposed to do? Walk around in our Sunday's best every day? So that people, so that we hope that people realize that we're good and decent people. Man, kiss my ass.
So like
not you, but just generally.
Yeah. so like Fela said on his album Gentleman, as he has a monkey in the suit. No matter what suit you got on, you still gonna be a monkey to them. Okay, Fela. All right. So with that said, I guess we could take a quick break and come back with some more news. This is the Remix Morning Show, y'all. We dive into topics here, there, and everywhere. And let's go ahead and dive into this quick break and come back right here with no other than the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Let's do a remix on a remix.
Tell her, try your best just to make it quick. Woman, tend to the sick. Cause there must be something she can do. This heart is broken in two. Tell her it's a case of emergency. There's a patient by the name of Gregory. Night nurse, only you alone can quench this thirst.
Oh, you got to do your thing. All right. Let me take you to a time and place. Let me take you back to the year of 1982. We're talking about Gregory Isaacs. Yes, the name of that album is Night Nurse, and the song Night Nurse. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, and donate where? blkliberationmedia.org. And let's mix with a little bit of Isaac Hayes. You gotta do your thing. All right, with that said, let's get back to it right here on no other than the Remix Morning Show.
Wanna make love all night. And you feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it.
A little bit of soul and reggae mixed together.
That's like it. And I just wanna give you a shout out, because I like how you kind of slid your arm back behind you and sort of made it a real slick move to pick out that Fela album and to make that point. That was slick. That was very slick.
You like that?
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Yeah. I got tools all around me here. I'm a mechanic.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? But that was a great song, that Gentleman, and it just really what we were saying. Like, yo, you still gonna be looked at as a monkey in the suit no matter what you put on. That's how they gonna look at you. So,
listen, one of the biggest lessons for me with all of this is, so my husband works in IT, and I will never forget how there's no dress code. Like, you can get on a meeting and whatever you want. And these people are making big, and their clients are big. Like, they just don't care as long as you make the money. And so this idea that there's this you have to look a certain way in order for people to think a certain thing. And I'm like, it's just not true. Right. And it's something that we've been fed by our parents, because my mother used to tell me the same thing, like, be presentable, press your clothes, like this whole, you know what I mean? Like, it's it's a thing. Like if you want to dress up because you are a person who likes to dress up and you like nice clothes and that's what you want to do, then cool. Like right, like go do it. But I just feel like especially with this thing with the college campus, to be this pressed about how children go eat and how they show up in class, if they're showing up in class, like what are we doing? Like what are we talking about right now?
I come from a fly guy era. You just had to be fly when you stepped outside. That's just all it was. My son don't. He don't give a fuck. He
Mine
don't.
neither. He is not a he's like, do I have to? Like so
Yo,
luckily they have a dress code,
he don't want no
but he just
Jordans. He don't want nothing that's name brand. I just give him all my old T-shirts, and he's cool with it. He's like, psh,
Good for him. I
yeah,
mean, I'm all for. I am absolutely all for the fashionistas. I'm all for, the Dapper Dans. I'm all for it. I am here for it. I love it because
Dre, you
that was
better
my
ask about
mama.
it.
That was
Oh
my
yeah,
mama.
oh
And
yeah,
and yeah, when I walk out the house, yes. I
yeah,
am cute as hell. I am. I make sure I am. But
yeah.
I don't do it because I want people to respond to me a certain way because I don't
Mm.
care.
Yeah. I have a
Because
seamstress, Jackie, to this day. Oh
oh,
yeah, I get custom outfits. I don't fuck around.
oh,
I
see,
mean, I'm an
see,
entertainer. It's part of I can't look
see.
like everybody else.
And you do a lot of parties and a
Yeah,
lot of so you do have to look fly.
yeah, I
I
do.
mean, that's look, I
Got
don't
a
know if
job.
you all have watched Ear Doctor's videos when he's doing his thing. Dude is on point with his craft and he's fly. I
I'm gonna
see.
leave. I'm gonna leave on.
Give,
I'm bi-
I believe in giving people their flowers when they're here because who
right.
knows what's going to happen in the next 58 minutes. Anyway,
All right, just real quick. I just want to address this real quick. There are public schools with dress codes. So, good luck with this plan and make sure you check out the public school where you live because there are public schools with dress codes. Just
yeah,
dress codes are actually like common in most places. So, just
yeah,
just
yeah.
saying, good luck
Just
with that plan.
and it's really weird though that people get upset about like bonnets, the way people dress to go do everyday stuff, like go to the store. I'm not concerned about how people dress to go get some damn milk. Like, why is that of
Yeah,
all
it's
of the
just too much.
things?
Yeah, it's just too much. It's too much
It's
focus in
just
the
just
wrong place.
way
I'm
too
like, if
much.
your students are going to class and your concern is what they're wearing to class, but they're in class, like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I don't it's just very very weird. And I think we also still kind of take it we just kind of take it too far. Like college students wearing whatever they wear is akin to like complete social failure. And it's like, but they're where they're supposed to be and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and they're not bothering anybody. And aren't you more concerned with how much you're paying for that tuition and the
How
fact that
about
the
that
military
part?
and the intelligence agencies are already on campus
How
um,
about that part?
uh, 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 planning to exploit your children?
Right.
That's not a bigger concern for you. And the same thing with Penn State, like because it's not just HBCUs that these institutions and agencies are on the campuses of. These military research projects, like the one at what was it, Tennessee State University, where the whole bonnet thing started, um, they're on PWIs too. So I wonder if Penn State has those same kind of programs. I know they've got ROTC, and so like yeah, this whole drug ring thing is really messed up, but that's not the only thing that's messed up on Penn State campus, and white parents don't seem to give a shit about that. That's going on the campuses where their kids are either.
Right. And I promise you, they're all also going to class in their pajamas. And so, what are
They
we?
are absolutely going to class the cafeteria, the gym, the Starbucks off campus, the, the stores across the street from them in their pajamas all day, every day. They absolutely are. And guess what? That's not going to stop them from getting a job that pays more than your college graduated students will get.
Wildness. So what else? What else did we? I picked the first one. So
Okay. Oh, let's see.
okay,
Let's see.
okay,
That just random. That's okay. That
okay.
was,
He wanted to show his
he
his,
did.
his
Just
setup.
just
We got you.
we flash of dark brilliance, and then it's oh, there's more. Okay, that's can do we need to? Is there another one? I just want to be sure that we give it the proper respect. That's all. Okay. It's fantastic. Thank you. It's fantastic.
I gotta say, Air Doctor is definitely one of my favorite people because he just
How can
he is so fucking random, so random.
how
But
can he not
also,
be though?
I know, like not for nothing, but Air Doctor, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. I'm not even gonna lie. Anywho, all right, what's up? What's next? What's next?
Oh, so I guess let's stay on drugs because I don't know. Just think since we're there now. This story intrigues me because they're talking about something that I don't know what the heck are you talking about. Um, and you knew it happened, but it's interesting to see it kind of admitted in anyway. This is being reported by PBS News. The Justice Department watchdog. Let me see. Sorry, I didn't do this last time. There we go. Justice Department watchdog to review DEA tactic that permitted deadly fentanyl to hit the streets. The U.S. Justice Department's internal watchdog on Monday announced a review of a controversial tactic in which federal law enforcement allowed fentanyl to hit the streets to build bigger cases against drug traffickers. The review will examine government policies and wiretap investigations in which the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration may have learned of fentanyl deliveries before they happened, but stood down to avoid jeopardizing larger prosecutions. Current and former agents said that investigative strategy, known as allowing drugs to walk, amounts to a gamble with public safety and may have violated Justice Department rules intended to safeguard communities from a synthetic opioid the White House last year designated as a weapon of mass destruction. Ooh, white supremacy is a hell of a drug. The review comes less than 2 months after an Associated Press investigation found DE agents repeatedly monitored but did not seize major fentanyl shipments in New Mexico between 2023 and 2025. It was disclosed in a statement by Justice Department Inspector General Don Berthiaume. I guess that's how you pronounce that. One of his first official actions since being sworn in Friday. The DEA, of course, didn't respond to a request for comment. DEA Administrator Terry Cole requested a narrower inspector general inquiry following AP's reporting, including a review of his agency's handling of a whistleblower complaint brought by Agent David Howell. Let's see. Cole wrote in an earlier statement that his request for an outside inquiry should not be interpreted as reflecting any lack of confidence in the professionalism or integrity of DEA personnel. Howell told AP that federal authorities poisoned our community to make cases. This is this person, Agent David Howell, who has lodged a whistleblower complaint. He said that federal authorities poisoned our community to make cases in New Mexico. An internal DEA report reviewed by AP detailed how DEA watched and declined to interdict a fentanyl delivery of 74,000 pills in a mobile home park in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The fentanyl went unseized amid the deadliest drug epidemic in U.S. history. Really? And as DEA led a public awareness campaign, one pill can kill, emphasizing that even a few milligrams of the substance can be lethal. Let's see. The Inspector General said the review will focus on the Justice Department's actions over the past 2 years. It could determine whether the DEA permitted similar drug shipments in other cities. And there's more and all this kind of stuff. But can we be real, y'all? This is how the US government, under this war on drugs bullshit, this is what they've always done. The war on drugs is actually a war on poor people. And they don't do anything to stop the drugs from coming. No, 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 no.
I'm
No, no.
like, is anyone recognizing the I'm
Uh-huh.
like, this is all sounding very familiar.
Familiar.
It's all sounding very much like the whole, crack cocaine era, which was brought in literally by the US government. Like it mm, mm,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
mm.
So, and it's interesting that they're only investigating a 2-year period.
Right. Right.
2 years, a 2-year period. So, I mean, obviously, the hypocrisy of this story in regard to the history of the war on drugs in this country and around the world, because we have to remember, in the context of all of these claims of narco terrorism that this regime is throwing out all over the place as the justification for murdering civilians in other countries that they have no jurisdiction over or right to do, the same narco terrorism that they claim they are doing all of this violence and cooing in the global south over, they actually facilitate. I mean, they just helped elect a bunch of people connected to narco traffickers in the
Mhm.
countries that they claim the
Mhm.
previous progressive or leftist leaders were narco terrorists. And the entire crack epidemic, the entire heroin epidemic before it, from the Vietnam era, y'all, that was all the US government. That was all the US government allowing all of that to be brought in here. And then they impose this war on drugs, which is really a war on poor people. And then all of those poor people who become addicted to the drugs they allowed to be brought in, because the same government doesn't provide anything for the people to live a dignified life. So people are struggling and oppressed and depressed and barely hanging on. So then the government locks up the people who are victims of the drugs they either allowed to be brought in here or brought in themselves. And remember that during the crack era, the drugs that were allowed to brought in here were a part of the Reagan administration's plan to make money that the US government would not allocate to give to the Contras so that they could defeat the Sandinistas that were overthrowing the right wing US backed government in Nicaragua. And they used drugs that they shipped into the United States during the crack. That's how Reagan got that money, because after a while
Right.
Congress would not approve any more funding to the Contras
Right.
because of the war crimes they were committed, because of the massacres, because of the
Yeah. It's some wild stuff. And again, I've recommended this book multiple times to folks. If you have not read Fort Bragg Quartel, so that you can understand how deeply embedded the the US military is in the drug trade all over the world. Listen, listen, because let's not forget that it is the seizing of the poppies that sent the military to Afghanistan. Like it's always, oh y'all, I can't. I can't. It's just
But do
so.
rags and bonnets, though. I'm
That's
sorry.
the problem.
I
That's the
just,
problem.
I can't.
But it is interesting that time frame of 23 to 25 is an interesting. That's interesting, and I wonder if it's just because they're on this mission to try and prove how corrupt the Biden administration
That's it.
was
Yep.
is because it's all the same people still working, and so. But I am curious though about when they this focus on 23 and 25, are they gonna recognize that like none of this started in 23, like that was not the start to the I I'm just like, are they gonna are they at some point gonna backtrack to when they first, because this is a long time going that
Hmm.
fentanyl has been a problem, like this is not new. So
Right.
I'm just curious. That is a curious. I mean, it has to be just because they're on this whole. We're going to point out how corrupt the Biden administration was, but I'm just.
Hmm. No, that's exactly why they're doing this. They are not serious. They are not serious about, they don't care. They do not care about all those poor white people who got addicted to fentanyl and died. They don't care. They this is, excuse me, remember that the people who head the Justice Department now are Trump appointees. So they are loyal to him. So everything they're doing is exactly what you said, Renee, to fulfill his agenda. And what is Trump's agenda? Revenge. His agenda is revenge. He is not interested in punishing anybody over the fentanyl crisis. He wants to, you're exactly right, Renee. He wants to pin this on the Biden administration. And I'm not entirely mad about that. The thing is, I think that, you know what? Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it, because you know what that does? Then that sets a precedent, right? If they come back with some, yes, this is what happened, and this can never be done again, and this is what Biden allowed. Oh, it's what Biden allowed. Okay, well then let's take this and look back even further, and let's apply it to the DEA under every administration, in every single one of those eras I mentioned. So now that you've set this precedent, okay, let's use it. Let's use it and really expose what has really been happening the whole time. In a perfect world, with people who are serious in the so-called political opposition party, that would happen, right? But the Democrats are not going to. Not even if there are a bunch of progressive-ish elected officials who win seats in the Democratic Party. They're not going to respond to this and counter it with basically using the ammunition that they're putting out there to go after Biden against them. They won't do it because they're
So,
cowards,
and this
number
is
one,
interesting.
and because they're complicit.
Right, right. And so what's interesting to me, because I was like, let me just go look, because I was trying to remember about when I started hearing about fentanyl being like a thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And admittedly, it started before this, but when I first started hearing about it, it was in that it was during Obama's second administration,
I think, yeah,
right? In like
that
the
sounds about right.
13, 14, it started to become like people were really talking about like how many deaths were happening because of fentanyl. So I'm curious, one, why did they not going after Obama? Because I mean, if he hates anybody, it's Obama, right?
That's true. That's true.
But
That's
then, if
true.
you really think about it, if you go back to then, he has to bear some responsibility because his term was next. And all it's done is increase since then,
Uh-huh.
right? So this is so curious. I love, like, this is it's fascinating. It is fascinating. And it all really boils down to the fact that we live in a place where the general health and well-being of people is not a priority, right? Because all of this is all wrapped up in a multitude of things that it's really because, like, the people who could do anything to care for people don't do shit to care for
Mm-hmm.
people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the amount of these stories that I hear that begin with, I broke something and the pain,
Yep.
right? So if we live in a place where your solution to everything is not to keep people sick, right? Like, these things don't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just very, this is all so, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. And yes, Leah, you're right. There has not been a good spreadsheet in a while. And that's because I got like 5 spreadsheets going right now that I'm trying to navigate which one to focus on, because there's just a lot. There's a lot happening.
Yeah, this whole. I have a feeling, and I actually hope this does happen. I don't think it's going to happen in my lifetime, but I really do have a feeling that at some point, people in this country, whatever this country will become in the future, are going to go back and look at all of the, these kinds of things that we're talking about and all of the connections that we're making, and people are going to be like, how in the hell did these people survive in this absolute dystopian hellscape for as long as they did? Like, we do not understand how much this place is being held up by scotch tape, hopes, dreams, and lies. Like capitalism itself is clearly not failing because it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, but it is clearly not serving anybody but the already rich, and everybody else is now slowly coming
Right.
to that realization. And as that's happening, all of the lies that people have been told to keep them committed to, continuing to prop up capitalism in this country and the idea of democracy, they're all falling apart too. So people are seeing these kinds of things, like the story about the DEA focusing only on these 2 years, or the Justice Department focusing only on these 2 years of DEA operations. I mean, people have got to see that, okay, we've had a fentanyl crisis for longer than 2023. Like you said, Renee, we've had an opioid crisis generally for longer than that.
Right. Right.
And then there was crack before that, because most white people are not going to give a shit about crack.
Right. Right.
But
Because and that's the part, when you think about it, like, the war on drugs was so focused on the crack, right? But there was a simultaneous cocaine opioid
yes.
happen, like, it was literally happening at the same time, that
Hmm.
no one addressed, no one paid attention to, no one, I mean, it was kind of sort of criminalized, but it was all the people in government and in law enforcement. So it's just, and I firmly believe that the only reason they even started to care about crack, quote unquote, is because it spilled beyond the boundaries of the Black community. So then once they realize, oh, we got the white people doing
Right.
it now
Right.
too, all of a
Right.
sudden it started to become like a problem. Now it's a
Hmm.
problem, right?
Yeah.
So it's fat. This whole thing, all this stuff is so fascinating. It's
It, it
very
is.
fascinating.
It is wild to have lived through that crack era in Southeast
Whew.
DC. and see like my neighborhood literally fall apart, but also knowing that the falling apart happened before the drugs hit the streets, right? Because the falling apart was the defunding of federally funded mental health institutions. So that these institutions like St. Elizabeth's Hospital, one of the, if I think it's the oldest um, federal mental institution in the country. It used to be a Civil War hospital. Um, they had to let nonviolent patients out during the day because they no longer had the money to feed and take care of them. So my neighborhood and many neighborhoods, working class and poor, black and brown neighborhoods and white neighborhoods, went from being poor and underserved, yes, and that was bad. But then all of a sudden, almost overnight, you had a homelessness crisis. And I mean literally, because St. Elizabeth's was always there. We all knew what St. Elizabeth's was. It was no mystery. There was no like negative attitude toward it, because one of the things that St. Elizabeth's provided was a really pretty decent drug treatment and rehab program that was free. So people in the neighborhood who grew up during the Vietnam era, and I knew people like this, got hooked on heroin, were able to go to St. Elizabeth's and enroll themselves in their rehab, what's it called, detox and rehab program, um, and kick heroin. When they eliminated the federal funding for mental health institutions, those programs ended, gone, and nothing replaced them except for AA meetings, and I have opinions about those. But the one lifeline that most working class and poor black and brown communities had in these federally funded mental health institutions were these kinds of detox and rehab programs, because they were federally funded, and they weren't okay. They weren't the best. Probably some of the methods were a little bit draconian. Some of the drugs certainly were that they used to help people detox. And I hate to make it sound like we should have been grateful for it, but it was that or you stay addicted. So it was something, and the little bit of something we had was taken away. And then on top of that, you have mentally unstable people who all of a sudden now are practically homeless, right? Because they're let out. I mean literally, St. Elizabeth's and many other mental institutions like this had to open their doors and let the patients leave during the day because they did not have the money anymore to feed people and medicate them during the day. So they just let them out and hope that they came back for their medication later. And of course, a lot of people did not. Not because they were trifling, but because they were mentally unstable. Right? So that happened at the same time. And also at the same time, all of the publicly funded programs for youth, for students, for summer programs, funding for the national program that funded those kinds of summer youth employment programs and marginalized community employment assistance. CETA was the name of the federal program, CETA, and I can't remember what it stood for. One of you will help me with that. But the federal CETA program, also, I think under Reagan, eliminated. And this was across the country. Abdus and I lived in different cities, different states. I'm in Southeast DC. He's in Camden, New Jersey, growing up. But we both participated in the Summer Youth Employment Program that the federal CETA program funded. So this was a a national program to provide job assistance and training to adults who were looking for a job, and to provide summer jobs and other opportunities for youth. Reagan cut all that. And all of this happened at the same time before crack hit the streets. And then when crack hit the streets, not too long after that perfect storm of working class and poor and brown neighborhood destabilization, because that's what that was, that's what happened. Then crack comes in, and all of these people impacted by that first wave of destabilization, now they're caught up in addiction. And what happens? Well, there's no federal funding for these detox and rehab programs at these institutions anymore, is there? So where do you put these people? Prison. That's where you put them. And that is what has happened. So this little thing that they're doing, yeah, I think this is a part of Trump's his revenge tour. But the fact that they are doing this, and as many millions of people who have been impacted by what's it now, 5 decades of bullshit US drug policy. There are a lot of things that I don't understand why there are not riots going on in this country that are being exposed right now. And this really is one of those things. I do not understand how people are not outraged, absolutely outraged, that the US government hasn't done anything about the damage done to the people of what this policy that they knew was just a part of their policy has allowed to happen. How are people not just like, Renee, I don't understand. I don't understand.
I don't either. And I don't know. Maybe Air Doctor understands. Air Doctor.
I don't know. What?
Do you understand?
I don't get it. I don't get it. But like Jackie said before, I had a picture of what was going on with America, and yes, it's being held up by a T-shirt and duct tape. So I get it. I get it. I get it. I guess it's time for a quick break, and we can get to another story. We are at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Make sure y'all tune in a little later today, because guess what, y'all? I'll be back. I'll be back with a good friend of mine, DJ Rosorius, as we do a classical breakdown on Anderson .Paak's first album, Malibu, and Bilal's first album, Firstborn Second. Should be a good show, so fall through for that. All right, let's go ahead and take a break and come right back here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Yeah. Welcome out. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, get footage that's rare, donate where, blkliberationmedia.org. Yes, we have about 222 people watching live. Big up to all y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It is on again. Listen, we got a bunch of dope shows here. One show that just came out was Disrupt the Chaos. Yes, with our good sister. Let's make sure we check it out. And they're talking about anti-black comments, the AOC, and some other stuff. Let's see what they talk about over here. Check this out.
But I think a number of activists, at least I know of folks I know in New York, they're not necessarily letting it slide. But, given that we are all in a period where we're being inundated with just threats and challenges and contradictions on a daily, folks are having to really pick and choose, like, well, what issue am I going to focus on? Because, the MAGA's flood the zone strategy is very effective, and we should not act as if it isn't, right? It's like a sensory overload, it's a political overload, and people can't respond to every particular thing. So at some point, when our movement gets its act together and we come up with real and coherent kind of division of labor in the movement, People can be very clear about, if something goes on in this arena, these are the folks we know are going to respond.
All right, with Dr. Rosa Clemente. Make sure y'all check that out. Disrupt the Chaos just came out. All right, with that said, let's get back to it right here at the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. Give me your love. Give me your love.
Mm-hmm. What? What did he say? Say that.
Give me
Talk
your
that
love. There's so many songs I do that too. I do not know the lyrics to.
I know. And then when you find out what the lyrics are, you're like,
what? Exactly. That's what they were saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to what I said.
Exactly. Mama say, Mama sa, Mama kusa.
I think that one messed everybody.
It sure did. Because I tell you, when I figured out that what he was saying, I was like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense, though, doesn't it?
And for Luther Vandross song, when he said "pretty little," I thought he was saying "pretty little darling, have a heart." I thought he was saying French. I thought he was saying "petit little." I was like, damn.
Oh my Lord! You thought he was speaking a different language?
Yeah, he was like "petit little." I was like, "petit little." What is that?
So he enunciates, and you think it's a different language?
Yeah. Pretty little. Is this how he brought that little?
That's bad.
Darling,
That's really
anyway. Yeah, check out 11 o'clock. Come on back and rock out with us. What we got next?
I wanted to where did it go? I can't find it now. But thank you to whoever in the chat put in that CETA stands for the Comprehensive Employment and Training Act. Yes, thank you very much for that. And yeah, we started talking about the blackout in Indiana. In Indiana, in Gary, Indiana. And yeah, I figured let's go there.
How long has it been? Like,
okay,
where's the emergency people coming?
Oh, please. But all these black folks ain't no emergency people.
You saying Utah or somewhere like that? Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah, so more than 83,000 homes still without power in Northwest Indiana. The bell did not ring for students in the public school system in Gary, Indiana on Wednesday morning. Officials announced that schools in Gary Community School Corporation's district would remain closed due to ongoing issues from the derecho last week. As of Wednesday morning, NIPSCO had restored power to 282,000 customers across Northwest Indiana, but more than 83,000 buildings and homes remained in the dark. More than 27,000 buildings in Gary alone have been without power for 8 days. At Sitco Station in Gary, the gas pumps did not work. A generator kept at least some businesses alive, but to power it, the owner of the gas station said he had to buy fuel somewhere else. Inside, ice cream was melting in the freezer, several cans of soda and juice were warm. The generator was only able to keep a floodlight on, the register running, and one refrigerator cool.
Wow.
CBS News Chicago asked how much 8 days without electricity was costing the gas station. As far as revenue, it's in the tens of thousands, said gas station owner Jasmeet Singh. And then product, I've thrown away about $5,000 to $7,000. I guess that I want to say I've thrown away about $5,000 to $7,000 worth of dairy stuff, ice cream and stuff like that. Still have more that needs to be thrown away. This is what happens when you let AI write your damn articles. Singh said the non-functional pumps are also costing the gas station $10,000 a day in revenue. I mean, we're not some big corporation or some big company. We're just a small business, so it impacts a lot. Let's see.
Fuck the gas station.
What about
the defibrillators and stuff that people got at their house? Continue.
Come on now. So NIPSCO Chief Executive Officer Vince Parisi had a more optimistic prediction about power restoration earlier this week. It did not pan out. On Monday, Parisi said, quote, I feel really good about getting 90% of our customers by the end of tomorrow. We're about 75, 80% today of those customers that were impacted by that original storm on August 11th.
Damn.
Just hours after that interview on Monday, a fire consumed NIPSCO equipment in East Chicago, plunging thousands of customers there into the dark and adding to NIPSCO's workload. Some people who lost power after the storm last week got it back, but then lost it again because of the fire. Parisi also said in that earlier interview that most people should be restored by Friday, but then Munster and Highland, Indiana residents might be in the dark until Tuesday of next week, 2 weeks after the storm, given that the first day of school remains to be announced in Munster. So they're talking about the schools here. Even children who have power in places like St. John are impacted because they are still not back in the classroom. This is because of ongoing outages in other towns feeding the district. Lake Central Schools said the lights are working in most buildings, but fire alarms and air conditioning systems were not working. Yeah, that's very interesting.
This is not a state emergency. I mean, what are we doing here?
It absolutely is a state emergency, but you notice how CBS News framed their story. They didn't talk to the residents who are impacted. They didn't talk to, like you said, ear doctor, people who rely on electricity for, like, people who are sick, people who are disabled, people who are on dialysis, people who need cancer treatments. What about people who are homebound, who elderly people in this heat with no power?
No food.
CBS News didn't talk to the individual people who don't have backup generators like businesses do, like, hospitals do. Because I think all hospitals have emergency backup power supplies for things just like this.
Yeah.
Right? So, but they didn't talk to the regular people who are suffering through this sweltering heat, with no power. They talked to a business owner. And of course, they completely gloss over the fact that Gary, Indiana is 70-something% Black.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? And you know what areas got restored first, if anything? It wasn't theirs.
And
that's
it always,
why.
And it always.
Man. Oh, but in the chat room we have David said, "Ear Dr. Jack, y'all remember the winter storm we had down here in Texas, where over 200 people died from power outages, mainly because Texas is an independent power grid."
Yep. I absolutely do. And same thing. I mean, there was a little bit of coverage of some of the people struggling, especially, elderly and poor people. But mostly it was all about, well, Texas is independent. We have a right to not be connected to the national power grid. and didn't say shit about the 200 people who died. And nobody was angry enough about that either. Because I kind of figured folks in Texas would be like, you know what?
Yeah,
this
don't mess
is some
with Texas.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
This is some bullshit.
They mess with Texas.
And Texans messed with Texas. and they just let them do it. So, I mean, these things keep happening in this country. And they're going to keep happening. They are going to keep happening. There have been a couple of floods. I think there was a hailstorm somewhere that caused a lot of damage. And this regime is not sending aid.
Real quick, Jackie, before we go, Renee has to drop off. She has somewhere to go.
Yeah, I had my destination wrong, and I was just corrected, and now I'm like, oh, I gotta leave in like 10 minutes.
Oh
Oh,
shit.
no.
oh, damn.
So
So what do we expect to see on Saturday, real quick, before you get out of here?
So we are hosting Andres Hanete, who is running for Congress in New Jersey. He is one of the Green Party of New Jersey folks, but he has also been a vicious advocate for housing, a vicious advocate against ICE, and he's got some interesting stories about how they pushed ICE out of his neighborhood. And so, yes. So I'm very, very much looking forward to having him on.
All right.
Reminder: we are starting at 10 a.m. now on Saturdays.
Oh,
Don't
damn.
forget, change of time. And sorry for the last minute drop, y'all, but I can't be late. So I got to
Stop being
roll.
sorry.
All
Handle your
right.
biz. We'll see you on Saturday.
Go do your
All right,
thing.
y'all.
All right,
Peace
peace
out.
out.
All right.
All right.
Be safe. Peace.
All right, now, Jackie, what we
Oh,
got?
yeah. This whole we need socialism. I swear to God. I don't know what else to say at this point. I think that for some people in this country, they just gonna have to get some
Mm.
and see that it solves the problems. It solves the problems of how do we make society more equal. Socialism. That's how you make society more
Nah, they
equal.
don't give a fuck about no equality. That sound
That's
good.
that's true. That's true. But I think we're just
If
gonna
you-
have to impose it on some people. Be like, see, if we had just done this 50 years ago, a lot of that shit wouldn't have happened. And
but
then
that's what
now we all happy, we all minding our business, we all doing our thing, and you're just fine. Now go over there and sit down and enjoy some more socialism. And
that would break this empire.
yes.
Why the hell they gonna want to break
You
their
spoke my
empire?
love language.
I mean,
Yes.
why the hell you gonna break your empire? It's working so well. We
Mm,
have
for
propaganda
the
media.
imperialists.
We have we'll give you electricity when we feel like it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
for the imperialists,
that is
the empire
wow.
works great for them.
Yo, this is
Um,
really be a emergency. That shit is crazy to go this long. And they don't give a fuck. They
mhm.
just worried about other shit.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like I really do feel like as we're seeing these things unfold, especially with the natural disasters, right? Because
Mhm.
nobody could predict the earth, an earthquake or hurricane, or you can see it coming, but that's the best you can do and
Gotta-
warn people. But as these things are happening in different states, and the federal government is not providing the state support, then it is incumbent upon the governors of those states to raise hell on behalf of the people in their states. But the
mhm.
governors in those states are, I mean, they're either Democrats or Republicans, and the Republicans like it, and the Democrats are cowards and they're not going to do or say anything about it. But then of course we have this captured media that is not going to report on anything because
It
now
hasn't been in
the
the news.
yeah, so it's so honestly the only thing that is going to look there, people need to get angry and do whatever angry people do. That is how other people around the world other people around the country are going to be like, oh well, oh for really they're doing, oh, maybe we should do this too.
And then I wonder
Maybe
if
we
people
should.
are using like social media to get out there, and then I'm wondering, are the algorithms even allowing it to get out to other people? It's
I think it's all that, but I also think it's just like people who are so beaten down and honestly oppressed and feeling like what they know the problem is bigger than what they can fight. That I think a lot of people just really feel like that we can't do anything about this.
mm,
We can't do anything about it. This is just the way things are, you know. And I
yeah.
think that part of that comes from obviously the fact that we don't know history. The fact that we do not know that the countries that this government are actively repressing were in the same situation and said, "You know what? We're not going to take this. We're not going to put up with this. We are going to fight this. If we die fighting.
Mm,
But maybe we'll win. If we don't fight, we sure as hell will die. But
mm.
if we fight, we just might win." And they did. So it is possible It is absolutely possible to fight the system and destroy it and win. Absolutely possible. And that is why this government has to destroy countries like Cuba and Venezuela and China. And yes, this is why they have to not teach the history of anti-colonial struggles on the continent of Africa, for those of you who are wondering which continent I'm talking about. They don't want us to learn about Thomas Sankara and Amilcar Cabral and Winnie Mandela, and they don't they,
Yeah.
they don't want us to learn about these things because they don't want us to know that we here can defeat them. So I guess we just got to keep doing what we doing over here, ear doctor.
Goddamn right. We do it. Been doing it for 5 years straight. Every week. God damn, Jackie, I've known you for 5 years straight and been talking to you every week for 5 years. It's crazy.
I know this is
We have a
the
real
second.
relationship. Like you're
I
like
know this is
you're
like
like
the
my big
second
sister over here.
longest relationship I've had.
Right?
That's I need to get out more. What the fuck?
We might have had one fight about over this whole 5 years, but that's it. If that. This is a disagreement probably.
Yeah, I don't.
Me neither.
No, I remember my fights. I
Oh, yeah,
remember,
yeah.
and I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
forget.
Yeah.
I neither forgive nor forget.
Oh,
No,
dang, watch
no,
out.
I don't forget. No, I don't. I don't think you and I have ever fought.
Mm-mm.
No.
Nah, I don't fight.
Mm-mm.
I don't do that. I just
No, I
I'm a
mean,
good
and
talker
even if
communication.
no, even when I disagree with folks, it's like I try really hard to. Okay, this is. I'm just saying this is the way I see it.
Yeah, that's it. It's
You know,
perspective. It's just your
I'm not
perspective.
saying you're wrong. I'm just saying this is the way I see it, and you know how that's gone. So
Yeah. So with that said, we about to get up out of here. I think. Damn, what time is it? Oh,
yeah,
it's 9:51. We still got a little time. We got
yeah,
enough time for something else. No. Yes.
yeah. I think so. I think this is important as we're
Okay.
talking about people not being angry enough about the systemic stuff that has always been going on in this country. This is an update from the Carmelo Anthony case.
Mm.
The judge has been removed from. I hate this. Oh my God, who are these people writing these articles now? Judge removed from Texas track meet stabbing case as defendant Carmelo Anthony seeks a new trial.
That's AI.
Yeah. The judge in the case of a Texas teenager convicted of fatally stabbing a 17-year-old athlete at a high school track meet was ordered removed Wednesday as the defendant seeks a new trial in a case that drew national attention. Carmelo Anthony, now 19, was convicted of murder and sentenced to 35 years in prison after a suburban Dallas jury in June rejected his claims of self-defense during a confrontation with Austin Metcalf in the stadium bleachers last year. The case attracted national attention in part because of a flood of social media posts that amplified the killing in racial terms. Anthony is black, Metcalf was white. Lawyers on both sides, however, told juries the tragedy had nothing to do with race, and that's a damn lie. Dozens of Anthony supporters gathered inside and outside the Collin County courtroom for Wednesday's hearing, and some chanted "Free Carmelo" in the parking lot after visiting Judge Sid Harley's order to remove District Judge John Roach as Anthony seeks a retrial. A new judge will be assigned for Thursday's hearings on Anthony's request for a retrial. Anthony's legal team argued Wednesday that a retrial is needed in part because Roach enforced overly strict courtroom rules and gave an interview after the trial was over. In the interview that was played as Wednesday's hearing began, Roach was asked if the jury got it right. Yeah, they did, Roach said, adding,
Wow.
whatever they say, they got it right. Knowing damn well all of the evidence was not presented in that trial. Like the entire video of the confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Harl said he did not know Roach and he believed Roach would be fair in a hearing for retrial, but Harl agreed to Anthony's request to remove him because of the way it might look to a third party. Anthony attended the hearing wearing a green jumpsuit. His okay, yeah, okay. And anyway, didn't testify during the trial, where students described a heated exchange over Anthony's refusal on a rainy spring day to leave a tent that belonged to Metcalf's team. The teens went to different high schools. This is how this conflict started. Carmelo Anthony was under the tent. It was raining. These group of white boys came over and demanded that he leave the tent, and he said no. It's raining. Are you nuts? I'm not leaving the tent. Something like that. Several schools were competing when Anthony sat under the Memorial High School tent that was perched in the bleachers. Austin Metcalf and others had repeatedly told Anthony to leave. Witnesses testified, leading to an escalating confrontation. Prosecutors said Anthony provoked Metcalf, and witnesses testified that Anthony was the aggressor, and they lied too. Anthony at one point reached inside a bag and replied, "Touch me and see what happens." According to a police report, Metcalf pushed Anthony, according to witnesses, who said Anthony then pulled out a knife and stabbed him in the chest. Now, even that account of the incident is not accurate. Because the full video of that incident does show Metcalf and those other boys confronting Anthony. And all he was doing was being under the tent. And then when that child said, "Leave me alone," they put their hands on him once. They pushed him one time. And I think he said that's when he said, "Put your hands on me again."
Texas is in the stand your ground state?
As far as I know, it is. I think it is.
Only for some. Only for some.
Right. So, the celebration is that the celebration that you saw in the picture is that they were able to get the judge who presided over this case removed for the retrial, which is a good thing, but it doesn't solve anything because you don't know who is going to be appointed next. And if this family has again, this is the classic quote that, if a white man wants to lynch me, that's his problem. If he has the power to lynch me, that's my problem.
Yeah.
So this is what that quote means. That these white people have this much money and this much influence and connections. Okay, that's fine. But if they have it and they're able to use it against me to deny me something, that's a problem. Right? So getting the judge removed from the next trial, okay, that's great. But what you going to do when the next judge has the same ideology, has the same thoughts about,
and he goes to the same church as these other family.
They belong to the same Rotary Club.
Yeah, exactly.
They belong to the same country club.
Oh my God.
And they believe in stand your ground, but not for y'all.
It's crazy that you just got to fight for justice, and then you get more bullshit after you still be like, "Come on now."
That's why the system, the entire system, all of it, top to bottom, left to right, needs to go.
Because it looks like this.
Pretty much.
And on that note, Jackie, what you got coming up on Darker Than Blue this Friday for the good people?
Friday, I am talking about who pays for socialism and why don't Americans understand that taxes are a good thing to provide for all of the people. That's what I'm talking about on Darker Than Blue this weekend.
Oh, really?
This Friday, not this weekend.
I'm going to tune in for that and find out why. All right, and then make sure y'all come back here today at 11. Go ahead and get your little snack in and come back and join me on Classical Breakdown as I have a guest host, DJ Rossorius, as we talk about Anderson .Paak and Bilal's first albums. Which one is better? Or let's just find out which one you haven't listened to yet. So come on through, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to be back here tomorrow morning for some more of the Remix Morning Show at 8 a.m. So make sure you tune in for that. And Jackie, another beautiful day to rock out with you. Appreciate you. And we will see y'all next. Well, she'll see you Friday. I'll see you in a little bit. All right. With that said, we out of here. This is the Remix Morning Show, organized so we can rise. Peace out, my people. Yo. Black Liberation Media is a collective of Black and African organizers, journalists, academics, and media personalities serving Black and African masses seeking to further grow in their understanding of themselves, their histories, and the African world through entertainment and news. Please continue to like, subscribe, and donate to the channel so we can further serve you and liberate our people. You can also go to blkliberationmedia.org, get some merchandise, and also become a Patreon member and a member from the YouTube. Please do what you can, share, and show your love as we will show ours for you. Black Liberation Media.